5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All systems go with Josh Appelbaum starts now.
Hello and welcome to episode 432 of the All Systems Go Sports Betting Podcast, powered by Rhythm. I am your host, Josh Appelbaum. What's going on, everyone? Happy Hump Day. It's officially Wednesday. That means we are halfway through our work week, guys. We are now one day closer to one of the best betting weekends of the year, the divisional round. So a few less games, but they're also more important compared to the wild card round. But I was thinking to myself, you know what? There's a few games I have my eye on. Is there anything we should hit right now because we might be getting the best of the number? And I landed on one game. So I am going to unveil to you my first divisional round best bet in the NFL with a really good rhythm edge, and also another factor here that I think could play a big role. So we'll talk an early divisional round bet in the NFL. Also, going to get right back to college basketball. So a huge Wednesday slate tonight, over 60 games overall, and I landed on 3 games. 2 are really big games. One's a obscure sharp line move game. We're going to see if we can get 2 out of 3 eke out a winning night. So it's going to be college hoops and an early conversation here about some NFL divisional round best bets. Now, looking back to our last night, guys, a little bit frustrating. 1-2 minus 1.09 units. Now, the hit of the night, which, again, it seems like such a gross play. How could they possibly cover the number? But we stayed true to the data, and the Kansas Jayhawks came up absolutely massive for the team. If you remember, the Kansas Jayhawks were extremely unpopular. Everyone and their mother was playing Iowa State, but Iowa State opened at a lot of shops, as high as, minus 4.5 down to 3.5. Some even closed at 3. So we stayed true to the data. Public Iowa State, line moved to Kansas, and they absolutely blew them out. Just absolutely crushed them. So that was great to see a sharp contrarian, unranked, first-ranked system match come through. Unfortunately, the 2 annoying ones. One, Oklahoma State, you're just pathetic. You got rolled by 15. Was really a no contest there. But the one that really hurt was the Minnesota Golden Gophers. Because if you guys noticed, I got a Gophers plus 2. You probably got a 1.5. Some books closed at 1. So definitely did our part. Identified the sharp side. Minnesota was up by, I think it was 35-28 at half. Up by about 7. Then Wisconsin just shot the lights out in the second half. Just hit nonstop 3 after 3 after 3. Minnesota got down by like 10. Then they clawed all the way back with like 3 seconds left, down by 3. Tyson, the big dude, he looks like a young Dirk Nowitzki, hit a massive 3 with 3 or 4 seconds left to tie the game. So we're thinking, okay, maybe force overtime. We'll see what happens in overtime. But nope, John Blackwell, who had a huge game, goes full court to the 3-point line, buzzer beater, nails a 3 right in our face. So again, Minnesota up, down, claw their way back. Again, you got a plus 2, plus 1.5. Guy hits a buzzer beater 3 to kill you. So that was a brutal one. That one hurt. But either way, guys, 1-2 minus 1.09 units. We're going to get right back at it tonight, see if we can have a winning night. So with that being said, let's start off with some college basketball, and then I'm going to save my my first playoff bet here for the NFL divisional round for the second half of the pod. Now, looking in chronological order, there's an early game that caught my eye, High Point and Winthrop. Let's talk system matches, splits, line movement, and I'll give you my play here for this one. So going into it, again, early 6:30 game. High Point comes in 16-3, having a great year. They've won 8 in a row, just beat Charleston Southern 84-82 in overtime. Didn't cover, though. They're favored by 9.5 on the road, won by 2. Looking at Winthrop, 11-8, but they have won 3 in a row. Just brushed aside South Carolina Upstate, 71-50. Easily covered and covered as a 5.5 point road favorite. So what have we seen across the market for this one? Well, this game opened with Winthrop listed as a very short 1.5 point home favorite. And the public doesn't care much about this game because why? It's an added game, extra game. So always pay attention to the rotation number, Vegas ID, NSS number, whatever you want to call it. When you go up to, walk into a sports book on the LED screen on the wall, whether it's the ticker or just shows you all the games, that's that rotation or ID number next to every game. But it's not a 3-digit rotation number. It's a 6-digit rotation number. So game 306-505, 306-506. Why is that important? Because it's a low bet game. It's not a popular game, and it's kind of hard to find on your betting app for the betting public. You usually have to click added or extra to find it. So it's a low bet matchup. However, what do we always talk about? Obscure, sharp line moves. Even though it's a low bet matchup, added game, extra game, it's very clear to me that the Sharps have taken a position here, and they've hit high point. So flipping high point from a 1.5 point road dog to a 1.5 point road favorite. I'm now seeing some shops up to around -2. So line continues to move toward high point. So not only do I have the added game, extra game, sharp line move, but let's take a look at the splits. At DraftKings, 75% of spread bets, 87% of spread dollars are on high point. Now you might say, ooh, that's a really public play, right? In a vacuum, technically speaking, yes, 75% is a big public play. But remember, we're taking 75% of a very low ticket count game. So to me, that's really telling you that really sharps are making up a big portion of that 75% here. Then we look at a money line play. So you guys know me. I'm going to money line a short favorite. I would hate for high point to win by 1 or 2, and you lose a 1.5 or push a 2. So I did get high point a little bit earlier today at -122. It's looking like your best number now is around -130. I think I'm seeing Caesars like -140. So it's a good sign this line continues to go to high point. Again, not great if you haven't played it yet, but that's a money line bet for me. I like the splits at DK on the money line as well. 78% of bets, 93% of dollars. Now our buddy Ken Palm, he has high point winning by 3. So 84-81. Now you may say, okay, if I can get a 1.5, 2, might as well lay it. If Ken Palm nails it, you cover anyway. To me, I look at it as that just makes me a little more excited to play the money line, a little bit more added cushion. He also has the Panthers ranked much higher, ranked 86th in the country versus 138th for Winthrop. You look at some stat advantages here. High point, better offensive efficiency, 49th in the country versus 96th for Winthrop. Better defensive efficiency, 182nd versus 241st. Better effective field goal percentage, 30th versus 229th. And better three-point shooting, ranking 63rd in the country versus 217th. So it's an added extra game. It's an early one, 6:30. So if you want to play it with me, get it in now. Don't show up at 6:59 and hopefully high point is up 10-3. But I like this obscure sharp line move, dog to fave line move. So I did money line the high point Panthers, -122. Looks like your best price now is around -130. Now for a 7 o'clock game. This is a very big game, heavily bet game. Auburn at Mizzou. Game 683, 684. So setting the stage here, Auburn comes in 10-6. Just snapped a 2-game losing streak, however, with a big 95-73 win over Arkansas, easily covering as a 2.5 point home favorite. On the flip side, Mizzou, 12-4 on the year. Just saw their 2-game win streak, however, come to an end. They lost to Ole Miss, 76-69. Did not cover as a 1.5 point road dog. So what have you seen across the market here? Well, this game opened at basically a pick'em. A lot of books were pick'em. Some shops were Auburn -1. I saw a few shops that were actually Mizzou -1, -1.5. But anytime I see a discrepancy, usually what I do is I lean on Circa or a book like Bookmaker, Chris, Bet Online, basically, or South Point too. They're really good. But sharp books that are not copycat books, they're setting their numbers based on really what they have and also not just following what everyone else is doing. So Circa opened out a pick'em. Sounds like that's good to me. What I like about Auburn here, you might be surprised. You're like, hey, Mizzou, 1.5 point conference dog at home, take it. However, public is actually leaning Mizzou. Missouri's getting nearly 60% of spread bets in a very heavily bet game here on ESPN2. However, we open at a pick, and we're not flipping to Mizzou -1, -1.5. We've moved toward Auburn -1, -1.5. So if majority of the tickets in a heavily bet 7 o'clock game are on Mizzou, then why is this line going to Auburn? That tells me that the sharper, more respected wagers are going with Auburn. And also, I was going to do this earlier. I was writing about this game for the Sharp Report for VSiN.com. I wanted to avoid Tigers because it gets confusing. Auburn Tigers, Missouri Tigers. So let's just stick with the names of the schools. But anyway, Auburn is contrarian in a heavily bet game. You are also a fade the public play as well as a fade the trendy dog play because the trendy dog here is Mizzou getting the points. In particular at Circa, only 30% spread bets, but nearly 60% of spread dollars are on Auburn. So further evidence of the bigger, sharper, wise guys out in the desert also going Auburn. Now Ken Palm has Auburn winning by 1 point He does have Auburn ranked higher, 30th in the country versus 54th for Mizzou. So you guys know what I'm doing. This is a money line play for me. I was able to get Auburn at basically a pick'em number, minus 110. I believe that was at Fanatics. Looks like minus 115 at the Score is your best number. FanDuel's minus 118. DraftKings, Caesars, a bunch of others are basically minus 120. So minus 120 or less. Again, not a bad price. I do like the fact that Auburn has the better offensive efficiency, 9th in the country versus 48th for Mizzou. Better defensive efficiency, 89th in the country versus 101st for Mizzou. And then a few other big ones that hopefully will be to our benefit tonight. Better offensive rebound percentage, 10th versus 42nd. Better free throw shooting, 169th versus 334th. Missouri is actually one of the worst free throw shooting teams in the country. So hopefully that's a tight game. If it is tight, let's have Auburn make theirs and Mizzou miss theirs. But also, we have Auburn taking better care of the ball. They rank 67th in the country in turnover percentage. Mizzou ranks 243rd. So Publix Mizzou, but lines going to Auburn. Sharp splits. Ken Palm's got him winning the game. We can be contrarian in a heavily bet game. We can fade a trendy dog. By the way, Rhythm has Auburn minus 1.3. And our friends at Juice Reel have Auburn as a 17% sharp mush edge. So 17% more of the sharper winning bettors who have downloaded Juice Reel and synced up their books, like you guys listening out there, are also going with Auburn. So you add it all up here, guys. Seems like, hey, take Mizzou, conference dog at home, getting 1.5. But a closer look tells me we got some smart money on Auburn. So I'm going Auburn money line. Minus 110. Right now you can get around minus 115, minus 120. Last bet of the night. Late night sweat here. Vandy and Texas. Should be a good matchup. This likely will end up being the most heavily bet game of the night. And boy, do we have a sharp play here. I think this Texas play actually reminds me a lot of the Kansas play from last night. And I'll explain to you why. So 9 o'clock Eastern time. This is an ESPN2 game, I believe. But Vandy comes in 16-0. Vandy's just crushing it in both college basketball and college football. Anyway, 16-0, ranked 10th. Undefeated. Just beat LSU 84-73. Did not cover, though, as a 14.5-point home favorite. Meanwhile, Texas, 10-6, unranked. Did, however, just snap a 2-game losing skid by beating Alabama 92-88. They're actually an 11.5-point road dog, won outright at Bama. It's kind of impressive. But what have we seen across the market? Well, this game opened Vandy listed as around a 5.5-point road favorite. And the public is saying, just like they said last night, Iowa State all day, Vandy all day. Vandy is undefeated, just like Iowa State. They're ranked. They're playing an unranked team like Kansas and Texas here tonight. So public is saying Vandy is easily going to cover this number. Vandy is getting 70% of spread bets at DK. However, even though big majority of tickets in the most heavily bet game of the night are going Vandy, Vandy's not up to -6, -7. No, this line is falling toward Texas. Texas has gone from +5.5 down to +4.5. And I'm seeing a lot of these 4.5s juiced up, +4.5, -115, -120. And I actually see a couple books down to 3.5. Both Caesars and BetMGM, where I'm at in Massachusetts, down to 3.5. So why does this line continue to go to Texas if everybody and their mother is on Vandy? Tells me we have a massive reverse line move here. Indicator of smart money, public Vandy, but line going to Texas. And think of it from the odds maker's perspective. If everyone's playing Vandy, why are we dropping the number to make it easier for the public to cover? Oh, you were fine laying the 5.5? Come lay a 4.5. You like the 4.5? Oh, come lay a 3.5. Again, the old me, new to betting, would double, triple down on Vandy. But as I've learned over the years, this is an indicator of smart money on Texas. Now, Texas is one of the top contrarian plays of the night, only getting 30% of spread bets. You look at DK, 30% bets, but 44% dollars. And then, incredibly, at Circa, 71% spread bets, over 90% of spread dollars on Texas. So that tells me a big, big amount of sharp money out in the desert at Circa is going with Texas as well. Texas is that classic unranked home dog versus ranked opponent. Again, same spot as Kansas last night. They're also a home conference dog with a line move in their favor. Those teams are 39 and 28 ATS, 58%, 11% ROI this year. So we got a 9 o'clock grudge match. Public's all over Vandy, but line's going to Texas. Give me the Longhorns here, guys. By the way, Rhythm has Texas plus 4.2. So again, if you can still get the 4.5, I jumped on 5.5 earlier today when I wrote about it in the Sharp Report. Another shameless plug to get the ASG best bet picks from Juice Reel. You can get those for $4.99 a week, but I'm loving the 5.5 now. It's down to 4.5, but still 4.5. You might beat the closing line because a lot of books are down to 3.5. So High Point and Auburn, hopefully to win. Texas, cover that 4.5 for everybody. Let's see if we can get 2 out of 3 and maybe get a break to go our way. Unlike, I still can't get over Minnesota. As great as Kansas was last night, I just can't get over Minnesota. Because like the elation of clawing all the way back, hitting a 3-tie game, let's go. And then immediately, kid runs down the court, hits a walk-off 3. That was a tough one. But anyway, guys, now let's talk about the NFL divisional round. Because we are down to the Elite 8, the Final 4 in each conference. And we have games that we can talk about really throughout the week and probably layer on more bets. There's a couple I'm leaning on right now. But there's one in particular that I saw a tweet that really kind of spoke to me. And then I'm looking at the rhythm recommendations, and I'm thinking, let's keep riding this team that has been cashing bigly for us. And that team happens to be da Bears. Ditka and da Bears. Let's go Chicago Bears. So Bears are the late game on Sunday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time in Chicago. Now, we have seen this line tick up a little bit toward the Rams. So a lot of books open Rams minus 3.5. A lot of books are up to 4. But here's the thing. Not every book is at 4. So I'm seeing Caesars and Fanatics, a couple others at 4. But all the others, DraftKings, FanDuel, BetMGM, are at 3.5. So what does that tell me? It tells me that if we want to go Bears and the dog, I want to get that 4. Again, 7 touchdown, 3 field goal, difference is 4. You lose by 4, you need to push that game instead of lose that game. In that regard, I'm saying, okay, let's investigate Chicago a little bit. So a couple things going with Chicago. 61% spread bets, 66% spread dollars. Now, I don't love that. That's a little public, but at least you have more bets, more dollars than bets. But listen to Circa. 59% spread bets, 74% spread dollars on Chicago. So Chicago technically does have low bets, higher dollars from both DraftKings and Circa. Then we get to our friends at Rhythm. Reminder, today's Wednesday, so tomorrow, Thursday, we'll have our Rhythm Rundown, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll go over all these games. But Rhythm, get a load of this, has 3 recommended plays on the Bears. First play, Bears plus 2.5. Second play, Bears plus 1.6. Third play, Bears plus 0.0. So Rhythm is saying this should be about a pick 'em or nothing more than a 2.5-point game. And we can get a 4. This is building a case here, guys, to take the Bears. Doesn't hurt that, it could be a schedule advantage for the Bears. This is the second straight road game for the Rams. This is the second straight home game for Chicago. Also, a 26% sharp mush edge from our friends at Juice Reel. So 26% more of the winning bettors who have downloaded Juice Reel are also on the Bears. So we can get the 4, which is the best of the number right now, as many other books are at 3.5. Rhythm's got about a pick'em 1 or 2-point game. We got a sharp mush edge with Juice Reel. We got a scheduling spot, no travel, at home, Rams, second straight road game. And then here's the tweet that I was mentioning. I was looking at some weather reports for this game. Da Bears, 6:30 at night. I mean, it's going to be cold. I'm looking at like 12 degrees with 15 mile per hour winds. I mean, this is going to be a very, very cold, windy game. The Bears are used to the cold. The Rams are not. The Rams come from LA. They come from a dome. In particular, Matthew Stafford. This is what jumped out to me. So this is from AI. I don't want to get too much into AI because, again, it's just a whole other ballgame here. But this is from AI Google. Matthew Stafford has historically struggled in games with rain or snow, holding a career record of 1-9 in such conditions with a lower than average passer rating and completion percentage. In these quote-unquote bad weather games, rain, snow, sleet, and freezing temperatures, he is, get a load of this, 1 win and 9 losses. Notable game, let's see, this is a long time ago, 2013 at Philly, snow, freezing rain, he was 10-25, 151 yards, fumbled 5 times. So, again, I mean, that was a long time ago, but the whole point being is that Stafford has struggled in bad weather. Stafford went to Georgia, I don't know if he's from Georgia, But he was in the South, and then he was in a dome in Detroit, and now he is in a dome, obviously, in LA. So the fact that, again, we are in a spot where it's going to be freezing cold, it's going to be windy, Bears are used to it, Stafford, LA is not. Let me now talk to you about what my friend Kevin Roth has. He is one of the best, I think the best around when it comes to weather in sports betting. And he has a very long breakdown of this game. So listen to this, quote unquote, Rams at Chicago. A lot to discuss here, but we should start with this. It's really, really cold. Actual temperatures should be in the teens with feels like temperatures likely in the single digits. While cold doesn't affect or impact scoring as much as something like high wind, it does tend to correlate to lower scoring games, especially when the temperature is extreme, which this qualifies as. There's also some wind worth watching. I think we'll see sustained winds 10 to 15 miles per hour, gusts up to 25 miles per hour, but models are bringing in much stronger winds post-game. I'll keep an eye on the forecast to make sure the post-game wind doesn't become an in-game wind issue. For now, I don't consider winds to be a major problem, maybe a little bit of an issue on longer field goals. Lastly, there's the chance for some snow. I don't know if it's a lot of snow, but a snow shower or flurry is possible. To sum it up, the cold is a little impactful. The wind is a little impactful. The snow could be a little impactful. And the sum of all those issues could be a bump down to offense and special teams. So, again, it's going to be freezing cold, and we can fade Stafford who struggled in the cold. That kind of benefits and aligns with the rhythm recommendations, the sharp mush edge, and lastly, system matches. Playoff dogs. They are 4-2 against the spread this year. They're 64-40 ATS, 62%, 19% ROI since 2017. I dug up some divisional round dogs because last week we talked about wildcard divisional round. Divisional round dogs since 2020, 13-7 against the spread, 65%, 25% ROI. And the kicker, the coup de grace, the best system match that I have, playoff dog who missed the playoffs the previous year. Those teams are now 3-0 against the spread. So you had, who was it? It was the Panthers getting points. It was the Bears getting points. And it was the Patriots actually laying points. But playoff dog missed the postseason the previous year since 2020. Those teams are 29-12 against the spread, 71%, 37% ROI. So again, there's 4 games on the board. Probably going to have bets on every single one of them. But on a Wednesday, a hump day, I said, you know what? We should jump on that +4 with Chicago for all the reasons we just explained. Because if it gets back down to 3.5, I'll be annoyed I missed the 4. And the 4 is the best price. So I did take Da Bears, Ditka, greater than a hurricane, greater than a wind chill game. I got Bears +4. So you're welcome to tail fade, do what you like. But I put in Bears +4. So let's go Bears. So that about does it, guys. Episode 432 of the ASG pod on a big Wednesday. As always, last half of the pod, ending of the pod here. Let's leave you with a few final thoughts and suggestions. First, I always want to say thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy lives. I know you guys got a lot going on, but I see the numbers. You tune in, you grind the plays with me. That means the world. There's nothing better than identifying a sharp bet, explaining it, pulling up a chair to the virtual bar, and we all cash. So I love that. To me, that's the best part of hosting this pod. But if you do enjoy the pod, you love the insights, hopefully, you value them, whether you play every bet, do what you want with them, you listen, and you want to at least know where the data is before you make an educated decision or a bet. If you enjoy the pod and you believe all of what I said, which I hope you do, then please give this podcast a 5-star review on Spotify or iTunes. Leave in a nice comment if you feel so inclined. Recommend the pod to a friend. Retweet the pod when I put it out on Twitter. That would all be very much appreciated. Next, if you enjoy this style of betting breakdown, data-driven, sharp contrarian betting, focusing on line movement, splits, system matches, AI models, taking a contrarian approach. If that is the case and you want to learn more about data-driven betting, or you have a friend who could use some data-driven tips, or someone you know who's trying to break into sports betting but can't tell you what the difference between a teaser and a money line is, you know what you should do? You should go to Amazon.com and type in the NFL Sharp Betting Playbook or the Everything Guide to Sports Betting. Both books that I've written, very proud of. If you want to grab one or both, give them a 5-star review and a nice little comment on Amazon, but then bring them to the sports book. I'll sign them for you. I'll buy you a beer or a ginger ale. We'll sweat some games together. Next, have you downloaded Rhythm and Juice Reel yet? My two favorite sports betting apps, Rhythm for their AI-backed models and predictions for game bets and player props. Reminder, tomorrow, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, we'll have our Rhythm Rundown streamed live on Twitter at Josh_Insights. Also, we have Juice Reel. So if you want to support the pod, you tip your podcast host, drop in a $5 bill, or to be exact, $4.99. You can sign up to get the ASG Best Bets officially from the Juice Reel app. So you would have gotten that Texas Longhorns plus 5.5 earlier today. But you're also going to get the Robo Jackson Best Bet pick, Sharp Mush indicators, arbitrage plays, shop for the best line futures, all available when you download Juice Reel. So download Rhythm and download Juice Reel and give them a 5-star review in the App Store while you're at it. Next, you have a live odds page. Well, if you don't have one, you need one. You don't know what you're missing out on if you don't have one, because you got to be able to track the market, identify steam, take advantage of shopping for the best price, finding the Bears at that book, giving you a +4 when every other book is down to 3.5, and also getting live in-game wagering odds, getting the new sharp signals. If you would like to try out Odds Logic, go to this special link, oddslogic.com/Josh123. That'll give you a 7-day free trial, 50% off your first month of service. And then, of course, Novig. I am an affiliate of Novig, so if you want to join a sports betting exchange, I think the big advantage here is you're just getting better juice prices. It's legal in upwards of 35, 40 states. Just make sure it's cool in your state. But if so, why bet at DraftKings FanDuel when they're charging you -115, -120, when you can get -105, +102, -106 on the betting exchange, going up against a fellow bettor and not the house. So if you'd like to give Novig a shot, just download the Novig app, and when you fund your account, put in Josh123 and that little promo code. It'll tack on an extra $25. So that about does it for episode 432 of the ASG Pod, talking college hoops and early NFL divisional round betting. As always, guys, two final thoughts. One, whether I see you at the Borgata in Atlantic City, Twin River in Rhode Island, the Brook in New Hampshire, Foxwoods or Mohegan Sun down in Connecticut, the Encore in Boston, Plainridge Park Casino, MGM Springfield, or the Nash in my neck of the woods on the border of Massachusetts and Nashville, New Hampshire, or out in the desert where the True Grinders get down, where Billy Walters sends his number runners, where the lowest juice possible is found at the South Point, or Sweat and Sharp Contrarian plays jumping in the stadium swim pool when you cash a big ticket at Circa. You're going to walk up to me and show me a beautiful Kansas Jayhawks ticket. Everybody Iowa State, line going to Kansas. Kansas came up bigly for the team. Whatever you do, OK State and Minnesota, man. Getting beat on a buzzer beater. There's nothing better than winning on a buzzer beater, but is there anything worse than losing on a buzzer beater? That's rough. But either way, guys, first one's on me, next one's on you. We'll sweat some of these games here together tonight. So as always, coming off a 1-2 or a 2-1, an 0-3 or a 3-0, a winning night, a losing night, a hot streak, a cold streak, whether everything's going our way or nothing's going our way, we just got to stick to the process. Not get too high or too low, stay even-keeled, flat betting, and playing the system matches, games that fit our model. And you guys know what those are. Games that are against the public, with the house, with the pros, flat bet, avoid parlays and get that CLV. If we can do that, we're going to be successful sports bettors. So have a great Wednesday night, everybody. We'll be right back at it tomorrow for Big Thirsty Thursday edition. That'll be episode 433 of the All Systems Go Sports Betting Podcast, powered by Rhythm. Good luck, everybody, and have a great Wednesday night.